But speaking of frequency,
It doesn't cut.
microcurrent
Okay,
is also frequency medicine.
right.
So we're sending in certain frequencies in your body. Remember yesterday, we talked about wanting your body to be alkaline.
Can you get around,
When your
mother?
body's alkaline, that's healthy, when your blood's alkaline.
Right.
So the microcurrent is putting electrons in at a certain frequency, and we want to match the frequency of the tissue we're treating.
Right.
Every tissue in the body has a unique frequency. That depends on the carbon, oxygen, nitrogen binding. It depends on hydration and density. Much like two tuning forks. They look alike, but they have different frequencies. So we send frequencies into your body to try to match the vibration, and it harmonizes and increases the energy, increases the healing. And the best way to explain that, anybody here a ham radio operator? No? Well, with the ham radio, you send out a certain frequency. So if I'm going to be communicating with somebody in Los Angeles, they have a certain frequency and I send it, and it kind of resonates with their ham radio. And then we send another frequency, my voice. So there's a frequency and there's a carrier. So with microcurrent, we identify the frequency of the tissue, and then we send a certain carrier to tell the tissue what to do, whether to reduce inflammation, rejuvenate, or whatever. So there's been many, many studies done, thousands of studies done with microcurrent, showing that microcurrent reduces inflammation, that microcurrent stimulates cellular activity. There was a study published in the Journal of Clinical Orthopedic Research by a Korean, Chang, and he showed that certain levels of current will stimulate cellular activity, mitochondrial activity, by up to 500%. 500%.
Okay.
He also demonstrated that the higher the current, will reduce cellular activity. And it's kind of follows homeopathy. You know, higher currents, higher remedies, higher concentrations of something is toxic. It's the lower concentrations that stimulate cellular activity. So in his study, he found that when you get about 500 microamps, the cellular activity stops. So most of the current that we administer is a very, very low current. It's a microamp, which is a millionth of an amp, and we're using right now maybe 20 to 40 microamps, which is extremely low. And that's one of the reasons why it's important that you don't get a microcurrent device that has a high current. They have devices you can buy on eBay for $70. They have very high currents. They're 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 microamps. They're milliamps. And it may be good for blocking pain or spasm, musculoskeletal spasm, but it actually decreases cellular activity. And I have patients that have bought, inexpensive TENS machine on eBay and treat their eye, and it actually reduces their vision. Not permanently, but temporarily. So you want a very, very low current going into your eye.
So if no thing remains the same,
What do you
and
want?
something is prescribed
What's that?
as far as
You want it?
remedy for
video.
condition, then other things come in, like temperature, emotion, it will change, so the condition changes. So what happens if it's given here for a few moments before, and over here it's different? What? That's the skill of the doctor.
Well, in homeopathy, if you select the right homeopathic remedy, there should be an instant change in your body.
Right away.
But it may not be manifest immediately physically, because the cells and the energy takes time to change. So many times all you need is one homeopathic dose and that's it.
Right.
But there's something called obstacles to cure. So let's say, for example, you're living in a toxic environment and you have an abusive family that's not supporting you, the homeopathic remedy will help you, but as long as that abuse is there.
It still slows it down.
So if you're an alcoholic and you're given the right homeopathic remedy and you're still drinking, that could be an obstacle to cure. So you have to remove the obstacle to cure. That's where the surgeon comes in. He'll cut it out. So, but usually, homeopathy, there are different layers. It's not like you're given one homeopathic remedy and that's it. Sometimes you need not a second remedy or further treatment. But the goal is to try to begin the body's healing process, stimulate the body to begin healing, based on homeopathic principles. So in the microcurrent, we try to select certain frequencies that match your particular eye problem. So even though you have macular degeneration, there's all different types of macular degeneration. There's wet, there's dry, drusen, atrophic changes, on and on and on, hemorrhagic changes. So we put in certain frequencies to try to help. So not only that, the microcurrent, we use certain frequencies to treat your autonomic nervous system. Yesterday I mentioned that reducing stress, balancing the autonomic